UAlbany leaves tomorrow, the men's basketball team for Louisville, and a game on Wednesday night. You can listen to it right here on 104.5 at Team ESPN Radio. I'll have the radio call along with Brian Mariano, and it's also on ESPNU in a 9 o'clock tip. UAlbany cruising record-wise, win-loss record, you can't argue with it. It's 11-2, and they figured out a way to come from behind, down 10 in the first half, and beat Canisius on Saturday night. The head coach is Will Brown, and he's the most unhappiest 11-2 coach in America. No, he says that himself, not me. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. I thought I was going to miss you. I had a season ticket holder knock on my door as I was on hold to drop off a Christmas gift for me unexpectedly.
Nice.
So,
wow.
Dropped me off a 12-pack of my favorite beverage.
Okay.
Let's see.
We need more season ticket holders like that.
What is it? Diet Coke? Is that what you're drinking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Dark brown, 16-ounce bottle Diet Coke. Diet Coke Light.
Hey,
Right.
Coach, we're having our sports department WNYT Christmas party tonight, so if you want to pop in, you more than
Where's
welcome.
that at?
We're taking the crew. I'm taking the crew to Laney's tonight.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So we're
hey,
going-
I was at your spot last night. I was at Delmonico's last night.
Nice. How was it? What'd you have?
A bunch of appetizers and then chicken marsala and 4 cannolis to go. And you know what's good about those 4 cannolis to go? I ate 2 of them last night before I went to bed, and they're even better the next day. So hopefully my wife and 2 boys don't eat them before I get home, because that's my late night snack tonight, I'm hoping, as well.
I just want to know if there's any big meal planned for Louisville. What do you got?
Well, it's funny. Coach Patsos at Siena shot me a text and told me where I should eat while I'm there. He said, you can take your team, or if not, just go by yourself. He gave me a tip on a steak place called Jeff Ruby's.
Okay.
And he said that's the spot to be. So I have a feeling that it's fairly expensive.
Yeah. So this probably won't be a whole team thing.
Well, no. I don't want to scare our athletic business office with those receipts.
Well,
so.
Mark Benson will be on the trip. Maybe Benson will find that
Tell him
spot.
to pick up the tab.
Oh, there's no doubt. I think he should whip out his travel card and take care of that. What do you think?
Or at least take care of the broadcast team that will be right there with him in Louisville. So we'll
no
see
doubt.
how
You got to
that
keep
goes.
the broadcast team happy.
Well, yeah. Why not? Are you happy, Coach Brown? You're 11-2 in the non-conference schedule. You lost at Memphis and had a chance to win. It would have been a great signature win for you in that non-conference, but came up a little bit short. And the only other loss is that Monday night on the road at Monmouth. Other than that, you have figured out a way to win every other game.
Yeah, we're winning. That's the name of the game. I think we've been inconsistent, especially on the defensive end. Haven't had too many struggles offensively as far as 40 minutes. We might have had a bad half, or, I think outside of maybe Memphis, where we really never got into a flow. But even that was more so the first half. It's just our defensive inconsistencies, and, I'm hoping it's not going to catch up to us, anytime soon. We have to get a tougher mindset and a more consistent mindset on the defensive side of the ball. I thought against Canisius, the first 12 minutes, I don't know why, but we weren't ready to play, and we dug ourselves a hole, got down 9 or 10, and then closed the half playing decent basketball. And I thought in the second half, much better effort, but we just couldn't open it up. We had plenty of opportunities to get it to, 10, 12, and we just didn't do it. So, and I think Canisius is pretty good. Excuse me. I think they're going to win a lot of games in the MAC, and we've just got to really continue to worry about ourselves, and we're just giving up too many easy shots, too many uncontested baskets, and I think that's the biggest thing from this year's team to last year's is, last year's team, I thought we got to a point where we were pretty good, defensively, but it took us till the second week of January, and then I thought we started really to embrace the defensive side of the ball and became fairly consistent. Now we're much better offensively this year, and we can score from just about every spot on the floor. So now we need our defense to catch up. to our offense right now. We have another gear in us. We have another level in us that we can get to, and I think it's my job and the staff's job to make sure we get there and get there sooner than later. I think it's easy to say that kids aren't doing A, B, or C, but it's up to the coaches to get the kids to do A, B, or C. And, we've got to get to that point, and we have a heck of a challenge on our hands. Wednesday at Louisville, we struggled with Memphis's size, athleticism, and length, and Louisville is bigger, longer, and more athletic than Memphis at every position, and they're better. So I'm anxious to see, how we defend, and we have to gang rebound in that game. And then offensively, they do some unique things defensively. They'll switch just about everything. They'll put their 7-foot center on our point guard. And we really have to drive the ball and make the extra pass, something that we were reluctant to do against Memphis, and we're going to have to do against Louisville if we're going to have any chance, to consistently score the ball. And I think the other thing is Louisville's a team I think you have to zone, and we don't play zone defense. So we're going to have to give as good of a defensive effort as we have all year long against a really talented Louisville team.
Will, two questions here, just because your last statement threw something into my mind here, so I'll ask that first. You said you don't play zone, and we know you don't like to play zone, but will you play zone because you feel like Louisville is a team that should be zoned? And then secondly, have you been able to in any way, in the short time you've had since Saturday night games, tried to simulate Louisville's length and press?
Yeah, what we did is we took Nick Fruscio and we put him on Greg Steyer's shoulders.
That's the only way.
To simulate the length. And then we're going 5-on-10 against pressure. That's the hardest thing to do. You simulate them, but we don't have the length. Their off guard, VJ King, is bigger and longer than Greg Steyer, who's our center. So, a lot of the passes and traps that you can throw out of or see through, you think you're doing a good job when you try to simulate, and then you find out that, you can't find those windows or see those openings against Louisville. We need to be very careful with where we take the ball. And what happens, you can't have live ball turnovers against a team like Louisville because it's going to be a dunk on the other end. And we had 2 live ball turnovers in a row really late in the game against Memphis, in my opinion, that ended up costing us the game. So we have to be very smart and methodical. Like you said, we're going to try to simulate them, but I'm not sure how successful we'll be doing that. I think we have to really ingrain in our guys what Louisville is trying to do with their pressure, what they're trying to do with their defense in the half court. And defensively, you have to give up something. I don't like zone. We have a zone. We have 2 zones in our back pocket. One that we have used this year only in late shot clock situations or late in the game, because it's amazing how coaches tell kids don't foul late in the game, and then the other team races the ball down the floor and gets an uncontested layup. So we have a zone in place to avoid those things. And then we have a really bad zone to play if we need to play zone. And our mindset going into the Memphis game was you need to zone Memphis to beat them. But our defense wasn't the issue against Memphis. Against Louisville, we're going to have to play some zone, and hopefully as we confuse ourselves with our zone, we confuse Louisville as well. If Louisville's knocking down 20-footers consistently, you're not going to beat them because they're going to get enough baskets in transition on the offensive glass and attacking the rim. So I think we have to really try to do a good job of keeping them off balance, but we must score in this game. We have to make shots in this game, and we have to get good looks. So hopefully we learn something from the Memphis game. This is a much better version of Memphis, and I'm anxious to see how we respond, what we've learned, how much we help ourselves, because you cannot hurt yourselves in these type of games against this quality of an opponent. And Roger, at 11-2, I'm not as miserable as you think, but I'm also not as happy as an 11-2 coach should, because I think this group has very high expectations of themselves. I have very high expectations for them. I don't think they have been in enough situations where they have genuinely felt threatened. Believe it or not, I think they felt threatened against Monmouth late, and we did not respond. Thought we felt threatened against Memphis, and we didn't take care of business. I don't think our guys have really felt threatened outside of maybe Iona in any of the other games. And so why that is, I'm not sure. Maybe because they played in some tough games last year and found ways to win. But we need a little more of a sense of urgency, need to find that next gear, because we don't want to. We have 2 games left to really start feeling good about ourselves, win, lose, or draw heading into America East Conference play.
Speaking of miserable, I might be miserable tomorrow with a 5:45 a.m. flight.
Unbelievable.
What are you doing?
I just blame it on our operations guy. I mean, those 5 a.m. flights.
I have a party tonight, and you're making me cut that short so I can make sure I'm up into the airport. Wait, so we leave at 5:45, or you want me at the airport at 5:45?
Well, you can get to the airport at 5:45, and you can just say, oops, I made a mistake, and then you're not on the trip. Yeah, I thought for sure once you found out it was a 5:40 a.m. flight that you were either going to have a 5th grade travel game or practice, or I thought you would move your party to today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or ratings week.
Yeah, well, one of the 3. I struck out on all 3 of those, so I'll see you at the airport at the crack of dawn.
That sounds good. So you'll be at the airport, what, 3:45?
3:45? No. What time am I going to get there? 4:30, right?
4:30? Sure, why not?
4:30 for a 5:45? That probably works. I live right around the corner, so maybe I won't go to bed. I'll stay up all night.
We need to get one of those chartered flights that football has, right?
Yeah, well, you know
we
what?
got to get that league policy on the basketball side in America East. That would be nice.
Hey, Mark Benson's on the trip. Maybe I'll ask him that question.
You can ask him that question. Fine.
I'll see you in the morning, Coach.
You got it. Have a good one.
All right. That's Will Brown. Their team is 11-2.